Chismosas, let's talk about this short that Bad Bunny just released ahead of the release of his new album, Debi, tirar más fotos, because this short was probably the best short that I have ever seen in my entire life, and that is not an exaggeration. It literally brought me to tears, and I was like, wow, why is Bad Bunny doing this to me right now? And if you haven't already watched it, let me go ahead and break it down for you because it is very intense. The entire short revolves around this older gentleman right here, which we can obviously see is an older version of Bad Bunny. Now, if you're wondering, how the hell do you know that? Like, they actually don't ever say that specifically, but it's very clear because the beginning of the actual short, we see the man going to this field and taking out this Puerto Rican flag. You can see he's wearing Adidas shoes, and then he's unburying the box that Bad Bunny buried at the end of his music video, El Club. Now, if you guys don't remember what box I'm referring to, let me rewind a little bit to the end of El Club. This is the flag that Bad Bunny buries in that field, and here is the box. So once he has the box, he goes home and he opens it up, and very clearly there is photos because he's showing the little frog right here all of his photos. And that's when he tells the frog, I wish I would have taken more photos. Now, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a coqui, which is like the national frog of Puerto Rico. It's only known to be in Puerto Rico. Now, right when he's showing the frog the photos, he shows him this one. He's like, this is my favorite photo. Now, obviously, this is a wedding photo, but there's a lot more to this, and I'll break that down in a separate video after this. But then the frog was like, great, if it's your favorite photo, it's my favorite photo. And then he's like, I'm really hungry. So he doesn't let the old man actually tell the story. So the old dude is like, okay, no problem. I think I'm hungry too. I'm gonna go get us something to eat. So he grabs his little fedora and he goes on his merry little way. And then this is where it starts getting very depressing. Because as he is walking down the street to go to his favorite panaderia, which is like a bakery in Puerto Rico, and he's just walking, minding his own business, trying to go get his food, and you can hear as he's passing one of these houses, they're playing rock in English. So very clearly they're sending a message that Puerto Rico is being gentrified. He walks a little further, he's getting closer to the panaderia, and you can see a bunch of Americans in this house, and they're listening to what sounds like a country music in English. Obviously, another sign that Puerto Rico is being gentrified. In the next scene, he is walking, he's almost at the panaderia, and then he sees these two people walking, and they're talking English, and they're like, oh, we can just drive there or walk, and blah, 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 very clearly speaking in English in Puerto Rico, which the main language in Puerto Rico is Spanish. Now, that was already, like, taking me out. I was like, oh my god, like, I was already getting emotional about this, but it gets worse. Then he gets to his favorite panaderia, and it's become like this type, like, chain, like, similar to Starbucks, and they're all speaking in English. So he's trying to order his sandwich, una tripleta, and she is speaking to him in English, and he's like, bro, this is fucking Puerto Rico. I'm pretty sure that's what he's thinking. He's not actually saying it, but he's like trying his best to speak broken English, and you can tell he's like, bro, like, what's happening? And this is where I just about lost it. I just started crying. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Even like thinking about it is really emotional. And before he left, you know, the frog wanted food, so he wanted un quesito, so he's like, oh, can I also get a quesito? And she was like, oh, do you want a quesito with cheese or without cheese? You want vegan? Because we do have it. Wait, let me go check. And she's like, oh, actually, we're all out of the vegan one. You know, they go really fast because they're very popular. Un quesito without fucking queso? Hijo de tu. And then he's like, okay, let me pay you. And he tries to take out cash. And she's like, we're cashless. It's good for the environment, blah, 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 la, 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 la. He's like, oh, well, I don't have a card. Can I just pay you later? And she's like, oh, you can't leave. I can't give you your order without you paying. What? Obviously, he's heartbroken. I'm over here crying, and thankfully somebody comes to his aid. This Puerto Rican guy, he just like pays for him, and he has a card, and he's like, oh, I'll pay you back. He's like, nah, like, I'm still here. We're still here. Speaking of the Puerto Ricans, right? And at this point, I'm full on sobbing. I'm like, I can't believe this, because this is true. This is really what's happening. Then he makes his way back to his house, and you can tell that this pink house is very significant. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it in a separate video because a lot more, and I'm already running late on this one. So long story short, he gets home, he's eating with his little frog, and then he hears somebody jamming out to reggaeton as they're driving by. He's like, oh my god, I haven't heard that in a long time, basically saying that he's only ever heard, you know, English music since it was all gentrified. Then the frog says, well, if you don't hear it very often, why don't you get in your car and you blast your reggaeton? And he's like, nah, I couldn't possibly do that. And after much debate, then the frog was like, okay, let's just go inside and let's look at more photos. He's like, I told you I should have taken more photos. I don't have enough. I don't have any more. Now, I can't tell you guys how much this broke me. I cried so much during it. It's only like 12 minutes long, and I was just like having a full on sobbing session. And I think this goes to show why he's making this album specifically for Puerto Ricans mixed with Puerto Rican music, because, you know, I feel like he just wants to give back to Puerto Rico. But that's exactly why I'm doing this video, because I want all those people that don't speak Spanish to be able to see the actual message in this video where you may have missed it because you don't speak Spanish or have problems with Spanish or whatever it may be. It's an important message, and I just loved every minute of it. And Benito, you're a genius. But anyway, guys, I'm curious to know if you guys watched the short, how you guys felt about it. Let me know your opinions down below in the comments. And don't forget to like and follow for more gossip, chisme, and all things tea.